Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Diane Bowman, and I'm a multi-award winning business growth expert. But why are you here? You're here to hear stories, you're here to gain insight, you're here to gain knowledge, which is fantastic because we're all seeking wisdom. We're all looking for what the next thing is. But my question to you today is, who are you really? What makes you different? These are questions that often we ask one another, or often I ask my clients. And how do we set you apart? How do we build your package you with inside your business? And part of my new keynote is exactly that. What about you in your business? So there's Diamond Success Formula is the new keynote that I'm presenting around the world, which is really exciting. But let's look at a couple of things. Number one, what is the difference between reactive versus creative? And often this is part of things like we're reactive to other people. We say we don't care about other people that are not within your ecosystem, or that are saying things about you, or that you react because they are mirroring your feelings or your fears. And that's a reactive way. So what do you do in those circumstances? What are your strategies behind that? And what is your strategy in the reactive space of playing small? Now, I know most of my clients stay in that space of playing small, and most of my clients don't have a policy or a strategy for reactive versus creative. All of you know that I'm in the creative space. I love looking for alternatives. I love the challenge behind different opportunities, and I can see opportunities really quickly. So the people within my ecosystem seem to stay around for a while before they get too big to move on to the next one, which is phenomenal because, of course, I love looking at what the journey is, but also what the results end up. So really think about what is your reactive versus creative strategy within inside your business. Things like if your clients come and they complain all the time, what are you doing about it? Are you actually hearing what they have to say? Because that's where we can learn. When people are talking about you or stalking you, what are they looking for? What are they talking about? And take that and create something new and different and exciting, because clearly they're looking for something, give it to them. So that's the first thing. And these are real tips to get you to the millionaire space. The second thing is, how much risk are you taking? And we all have risk in business. It doesn't matter. I had a lovely conversation this morning with a lady who was saying that they went through a little bit of financial difficulty, which we all go through. It doesn't matter who and what level of business you're on. But what did she do? She realized that you don't have to have money to start or to sell something. You can just have something little to start with. From that sale, you take some of it to buy the next. From that sale, you take something to buy the next, and so you slowly move on. And this is what I've been talking about for many years now, is we've created this expectation of funding that people are expecting money to start businesses, but that's not. You're not going to learn that way. The way you're going to learn is walk in the streets. The way you're going to learn is how do you negotiate? How can you use the people within your space the best? Because that's where you build and find true creative strategies, but that's also where the risks are. But what you've got to know when you take risks is, what is your true vision? What are you really building? And I think that that's what often we don't take the time for. We don't take the time to work out, what do we truly want to build? And are we playing small in that? And most of us are, because we want to have a little business just to cover the expenses and make some profit and maybe travel or buy a house or buy a next car or whatever the case is. But Think bigger. What about building a franchise or licensing or having a global company or stepping out your comfort zone in some sort of space? So when you look at the risks, make sure it's in line with your vision. And that means, and this is where the scary part comes in, that means that you've got to believe in you. You've got to believe that what your vision is true. So in order to get that, you need to make sure you're surrounding yourself, not with cheerleaders, but with real support people. So the people that have more knowledge in certain areas than in other. So it's really, really important for you right now to know what it is that you're building, what is your vision, and believe in who you are. And that way you'll start playing a bigger game because you take in bigger risks all the time. And then the third area is, who's your ecosystem? And I think I probably talk about this every single time I have something. Who's there that has the knowledge that you need? Who's there with bigger wisdom? Who's there that you can trust? Because that's a big thing. Who's there that believes in your vision, that can take you to the next kind of level? Who's in your ecospace that can free up your time, whether it's a VA, an accountant, a marketing expert, a designer, even down to somebody that can help clean your office space, your home, that is the chef for when you get home, that cook, that a box of goodies that arrive and you just have to throw together. You know, what is it that you're spending time on unnecessarily? Because that's where your support comes in, and that's what your ecosystem is that you're building. And let me tell you, when the times get tough, your ecosystem definitely changes, number one. But number two is you need people around you. So if you're going through a troubled spot within inside your business, this is where you draw support from. When you're going through a personal space of needing additional support, this is where you look for that. So rely on your support structures around you. And then the fourth area is certainty. Do you know that the day that you get upset with somebody, the day that your client really is full of BS, the day where you are so annoyed is when that's the mirror of what you're feeling in a lot of cases. It's a mirror of a fear that you might have. It's a mirror of a doubt that you set in yourself. Or it's a mirror of something that you need to learn. And I've learned this over time, that there's very few people that truly annoy me. But when they annoy me big time. And if I take a step back and just think about what it is they've annoyed me about, it could be an insecurity that I'm feeling at the time. It could be a fear that I'm facing at the time. So it's really important for you to reflect on what's happening. So are you really certain about what you're building? Are you really certain about your marketing? Are you really certain about your numbers? Those are the kinds of things that we start getting irritated with because we don't have enough knowledge sometimes. So make sure you know what you are creating. Make sure you know the certainty and the vision behind it, and make sure that there's excitement in it. I know I recorded my keynote recently for Mike to have a look at for me. And it's monotone. Of course it's monotone. I mean, I'm sitting staring at a screen. There's nobody out there. Nobody's giving me feedback. But I need my voice to go up and down and get excited because he's listening to it. I mean, you can imagine having this all the time. And I actually felt really sorry for him after I sent it. And that was one of his comments. And I mean, it's very, very valid. So make sure that you have that energy behind what you're doing and making sure that you're certain with what it is that you're building. The fifth one I want to bring to your attention and how you can move from where you are to the millionaire status is value. And this is often reflected in what you do. Are you giving enough value in what you're doing? Are you giving enough value in your keynote? Are you giving enough value in your workshops? My problem is always I want to give too much value because I want everybody to be able to make a change immediately, make a practical change immediately. So my keynotes are filled with information. But, you know, a lot of people will turn to you and say, you're giving too much. You can never give too much because everybody hears things differently. I'm servicing the business owners and the SMME. That's my target audience, not startups and not corporates. So I want to make sure that those clients are taking away as much as they can. Remember, they're not going to do everything in one go. They're going to come back because they need to have more knowledge in order to do the next thing. So give. Really, you will see what you get back in return. My ecosystem is absolutely phenomenal. The business owners inside my space come and go, stay, attach themselves to my hip in some case, but it's because they know they're going to get as much, because I'm learning all the time too. There's never going to be a time when I stop learning. So make sure that your give is not ego driven. And by that, I mean that you start doubting it, that you start thinking that what you're giving is maybe too easy. What you're giving is everybody knows already, because it's not true. Not at all. People hear differently. So what you say, somebody takes this way, somebody else takes that way. But the other thing about giving is sometimes we need to build that excitement that I spoke about earlier, that excitement or that energy of your vision. And what about putting together things like different challenges for your clients and getting them involved in what you're doing? I know from our keynote that getting people involved in the keynote gets them to value it even more. And so it's difficult in the beginning to build that, but once you've got that formula, then do it really well. So that's exciting. I mean, I did 100-day Facebook live videos, which I was completely out of my comfort zone for. But what it did was it helped the businesses know where the money in COVID was, what they should be doing during that time. And all that knowledge came from the government and came from really strong institutions that were sharing knowledge. And that helped so many people. In fact, so many people joined on those 100-day lives, listening to them, that afterwards, when I spoke at a keynote, at a talk recently, somebody came to me and said, that helped save her business. I never knew the lady, I never met the lady before, but if that helped her, I'm really excited. You see, we help people in different ways. So making sure that you are knowing the value that you give, it allows you to do certain things. For example, I could have done blogs. I could have done LinkedIn articles. I could have done anything that shared the knowledge. But I chose to go Facebook Live because I wanted to understand that sort of medium. That has now led me to this, to the YouTube channel. But it will give you a voice. If you gave yourself a 100-day challenge or a 30-day challenge of writing articles or doing a blog post or anything like that, it gives you a voice, because what we don't have in most cases is an opinion, which is really interesting, isn't it? We think we do, but most cases we don't. The sixth thing is take time for you. Where's your time? Me time journey I've got going at the moment on what I'm doing in my space. And I've done this for quite a while. Just before I turned 50, I took a year on doing 50 challenges during the year, from the time that I turned 49 to the time that I turned 50. And it was all those things that you're one day going to do. And it was exciting. People followed me just to see what the next thing was. Some of them were so simple and some of them were so exorbitant. But it was an exciting time. And it was my time to make sure that I covered that. Now I'm doing the me time journey, which is discovering why the side of my body is painful. What is it that I'm doing wrong with inside my space right now? And so what are you doing for yourself? Often I will say to my clients, you need to take an hour a day or a half a morning or a day off in a week. You normally work 3.5 days a week. That's it. Why? Because I've got my structures in place, and it also frees up my time. So look at that, because what it allows you to do is it allows you to become more productive, because you've got to get all what you do within less time. And we can, if we put in processes and automation and all those kind of exciting things. But the freedom of time, whether it's an hour a day or hour once a week or half a morning, you start looking at things differently. You start finding that creativity again. You start looking at, if you put this course together or a retreat together, or how are you going to do it, or how is it different, or what are people paying for? Is it knowledge they're paying for? Is it time? And I say don't charge per hour, because it's not your time. Your time that you charge per hour is years of experience. It's knowledge that you gain. It's so much more than limiting to an hourly rate. And it also allows you time to travel. And most of you know that excuse me, that I'm doing quite a lot of travel this year. And I leave again in the next 2 weeks, and I fly to Johannesburg to go and work with some clients and do a workshop. And then I go to America, and then I'm going to Bali. So, and then I'm home for a little bit, and then I'm off again. So follow my journeys. Travel is so exciting, but what it does so well is it allows us to see what else is available, what other opportunities there are, how to work with countries around the world, because every country is unique and different. So don't forget that. Take that time. And the last thing is, the seventh thing is getting you to be a millionaire, is what about you? So what are you creating? What are your biggest fears? What can you do so differently from everybody else? What about you inside your business? What do you truly want from it? What legacy are you leaving one day? What are you doing that is so different? I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, click the like button below. There's an algorithm on YouTube. If you really enjoyed it and want to hear more, please subscribe and share this with your friends. I'm here to help you think different so that we can move your business into the 7 and 8 figure mark. My name is Diane Borman, and I look forward to hearing your comments below. Which one of these 7 tips do you think will help you even more? Bye for now.